Welcome back to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. Our mission is to share what we have learned from our experience and the experience of others to help you make more money investing like a pro. We want to teach you how to create wealth by investing in real estate the Discount Property Investor way. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. This is your host, David Dodge, coming to you today to talk to you guys about turning your trash leads into cash. I have a special guest today. His name is Chris Craddock. I met Chris at a mastermind just a couple weeks ago, and we really hit it off. Not only did we hit it off, but we were wingmen, so we were forced to network, but boy, am I glad that I met Chris. Let's give a nice welcome to Chris. Chris, how you doing today, buddy?
Bro, thank you so much, man. It has been fun getting to be buds, man. This has been awesome. I love what you're doing, and looking forward to spend some time with you today, man.
Hell yeah, Chris. We appreciate you coming on. We're grateful for your time.
And I apologize for this thing on my face. It's terrible right now, but I'm in one of my buddy's weddings who's got the most amazing mustache ever. And he said the rule to be in the wedding is every single groomsman has to wear a mustache. So I just haven't shaved for a while. And man, one day I'm going to go through puberty and not like look terrible.
I think you look great, Chris. I think you look great. We have about 75 to 80% of our listeners via podcast versus YouTube. So most people won't get the pleasure of seeing your pretty face today, but that's okay.
We're thankful.
So anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about how I met Chris. I met Chris at a mastermind a couple weeks back, and Chris had some really, really fascinating ideas and some stuff that I have done in the past, but never really had a whole lot of success with it. And Chris is having some really good success. And what he is doing is, I'm going to let him explain it to you guys, but essentially he is turning trash leads into cash. And if you are new to real estate investing or new to wholesaling, you will know, especially if you've listened to this podcast before, that we make our money when we buy and we get paid when we sell. So you got to buy things at a discount. And specifically in wholesaling, you have to buy great in order to sell good. I mean, we're basically just making the spread between buying great and selling good. And in order to find a great deal, you have to talk to a lot of people. You know, this is a numbers game. You have to talk to a lot of people about their properties. You have to make a lot of offers. And you are going to have a lot of people that you spend money on or time or both in order to reach out to them or have them reach out to you. And if you aren't able to close that deal right away, they're going to end up in your follow-up system. So first and foremost, have a follow-up system in place and work those leads. That is number one thing that you need to know about this episode today is have a system in place and work those leads. Now, if you don't work those leads, you're throwing them all away. If you do work those leads, you are probably still throwing leads away. And that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to get with Chris today and talk about some of the ideas and the strategies that we can use together to reduce this and to not throw these leads away. And I had to pull it out of Chris tooth and nail, but he's got a course coming out soon. It's not out yet, but it will be out soon. And the more people that we can get over to his site, the quicker he will get his ass in gear. Right, yeah. Chris?
Absolutely. All right.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, I just wanted to kind of lay that out there. That's the foundation. I'm not trying to steal the show here and talk you guys' ear off. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about what you're up to and how you are turning your trash leads into cash.
Yeah. So my story was early in the early 2000s. You know, I was on staff with this organization called Young Life. When my wife got pregnant, I knew I needed to make some money. And so I went out, knocked on every distressed property door I could find and started flipping houses. In 4 months, I made 12 times what I made in a year, you know, and it was great. And then as I got you know, time went on, everything went on, and started flipping houses again in the like around 2011. It was all short sales. Got licensed so that I could, you know, make a commission on those short sales I was flipping, and just through the kind of doing the agent side and the investor side, I realized that there were a lot of these retail leads, that a lot of people that would sell, but they were way too skinny to be able to do the deal, like to flip the deal. And anyway, got tied in with a number of investors, and this one in particular that's you know, just spend a lot of money on leads. They're doing everything from cold calling to direct mail to TV, radio, everything, and they're just bringing a lot of leads. They do a lot of business, and they've just been throwing away their old deals. Really, they've been giving them to agents, but not really tracking it, not really doing anything with it. And a few years ago, man, I just started fighting tooth and nail because I knew they were spending so much money on these. And I knew I could convert them and monetize these leads. They were just like, literally to them, it's just trash. You know, they make like maybe 10 grand, 20 grand a year on these, but they're spending a lot of money on marketing. So it really was a drop in the bucket. And so I mean, this month alone, we're going to be sending them about 30 grand this month alone, just in referral fees by converting these retail leads into, you know, into deals that they would have just thrown away and not even cared about. And so that's where I'm seeing, like, this is real money. Like, we're not talking about just a couple bucks here and there or here, deals here and there. We're talking about real money and real deals if you know how to do it right. But the problem is most real estate agents, even good ones, they don't know how to convert these deals. They don't know how to talk to people that are calling investors for a deal. And so then they just die on a vine. So that's kind of what we've been doing. And we've cracked the code on being able to convert them and actually monetize these deals.
Got it. So Chris, let me ask you this. And this can go both ways. So I just want to figure out, you know, your approach to this. Are you converting the motivated seller lead that's contacting a real, contacting an investor into listing that property, or are you converting the people that are contacting agents to get their property listed into more of a real estate investor's role? Do you get what I'm asking?
Yeah. Well, we do
both.
We do both for sure. But the real money here is like, so like David, I mean, you're doing your marketing, you're doing your advertising, you see a deal, you're going to make, like, you be able to do a quick wholesale, you flip it for, you know, 15 grand. Well, if there's a deal that you see that's just way too skinny, you know, they want close to market value and there's more money in it, we're taking those deals and doing, you know, turning them into a retail listing and being able to give a big fee back to the person that, like, back to you who paid for that lead. But the crazy thing is most people see it as like, you know, they're doing, you know, a lot of people will look at it and say, oh man, this is a deal here, but 3% of a, you know, like I know in your market that you'll see like some $50,000 houses. Well, the crazy thing is, you know, we got deals in Baltimore where we're selling, I've got a $70,000 house right now where we've got a 9% commission on it. Like, I mean, that's real money. So we're, you know, it doesn't mean, a lot of real estate agents, they just don't know how to do it right. They don't know how to talk to people. And so they're getting, like, in my market, it's average to get a 4% commission where, you know, the listing agent keeps 1.5%. We're getting a 9% commission on a number of properties, 7, 8, 9%. And then we're able to turn them over. Or on these lower dollar properties, we'll get a flat fee, like 5 grand, 7 grand commission on that. And then you're given, you know, 25, 35, you know, up to 50%, depending on, you know, the situation, back to the investor on the deal, you know, as long as it's set up in a way where you can, you know, where you're able to do that and not break any rules. So that's kind of the key there.
Yeah. And you know, some of the best businesses are the most simple businesses. So you don't have to complicate it. I mean, that's it. It's just putting in a little bit of hustle to connect these individuals that aren't aligning with your current model, or maybe they just don't know that there are these other options. So I love it. So you're converting agent leads to investors, you're converting investor leads to agents, and basically just saying, hey, there are other options out here, right? We have more tools in our belt. Let's see what we can do to help you solve this problem. And typically their problem is that they need or want to sell. And then, from there, you are converting these over to other people. So what would you say that you are converting more of? Is it agent, people that are, leads that are contacted in because they want to list, and you bring in the buyer and do like a wholesale type of a transaction? Or is it more the flip side where they're contacting and they want somebody to make them an offer, and then you convert those to doing listings?
Yeah, so we're doing a little bit of both. So last year, our organization, we did 409 transactions, and of them, a massive amount of those, and this year alone, I mean, we're now, who knows with where the world is right now, but this year alone, we've already listed over 100 properties since January 1, and with them, I'd say, I believe not quite 50, but almost 50% of those are deals that came in where people wanted to sell to they wanted a cash buyer, and then we converted them over because they were unrealistic. I mean, so David, when you go on an appointment, or when you get a lead in, how many leads do you get to convert one wholesale deal?
It depends on the marketing that we're doing, because if you pay for marketing and the message is put in front of the individual and they call in, it's going to be a much higher number, or I'm sorry, it's going to be a much lower number of leads to deal, as if we are calling out, right? And there's not a level of motivation, we're searching for it. So let's talk about those who are calling us from our radio ads, our websites, our direct mail campaigns, right? So we are spending money to get our message out, and they call us. I would say, we're pretty good at converting, but I would say, it's still going to probably be 1 in 10 that we're going to convert. And if it's something that we're outbound reaching out to, you flip the script, I'd say it's probably closer to like 1 in 200.
Right. So of the 10, let's say those 10, how many are likely going to sell, even if they don't sell with you? So 90%, you'll go on an appointment, 90% you don't sign up. How many are likely going to sell?
I would say, probably half, if not more. I mean, they're reaching out for a reason. And the reason that they typically don't want to work with us is broken down to the simple science of math. And if our offer is at or above what they owe, then that opens up the doors to even talk further. But sometimes the offer is lower than what they owe. They're not willing to bring money to the table or quit making payments and try to short sale it. And those are just tough leads for us, because what do we do? Now, we have some in-house agents that we will turn those over to, but I want to be clear here, we're not that great at doing it. Our focus is buying houses. And I'm working on that, though. I know that there's a need to convert these leads. I'm spending money to generate them. So that's another one of the reasons why I'm glad you're on today, is maybe you can give me some pointers or some tips on how to convert those, a little bit better. But you're absolutely right. About half of those people need to sell, and I'm only getting 1 out of 10. So I'm getting 1/5 of the 5 people essentially that are going to be selling. The other ones are probably going and finding somebody that can pay them more, or they're listing those properties.
Yeah, so that's the crazy thing. I think it's probably a little bit higher than 50%, at least from what we're seeing. But let's even just say it's 50%. So that means you're signing up one, and then there's 4 others that are selling with somebody else. And so that's the crazy thing. If you could monetize those other 4, like what's an average wholesale fee for you in your market?
So our market's kind of low, and people laugh. But ours is like 7,000 or 8,000, but 7,000 or 8,000, 7,000 or 8,000, right? I mean, I know people are out there doing 15, 18, sometimes even $30,000 wholesale fees, and that's fine. Then that's really cool. Our market, it's really more like 7 or 8 grand. We do a lot of joint ventures with other people as well. And, I'm not too big or too cool to do a $2,000 or $3,000 deal. We do 10 deals a month. So to me, it all adds up. And it's not always about the money. Whenever you build up a business that's, pretty well oiled, and it's a good machine, and it can crank out marketing, and it can crank out appointments, and it can help people buy and sell their house. it's not always about the money. So sometimes it's about just helping somebody sell their property, as well as helping somebody else find that next rehab or that next rental. And we're creating wins and we're solving problems. So to
Yeah.
answer your problem though, yes, 6-7 grand, maybe 8 grand, 7-8 grand, call it, is, a typical wholesale fee for us.
Yeah. And just after talking with you, getting to know you and hearing your business, I mean, it sounds like your business is rolling like clockwork, which is awesome. I think people that are making an average of 15, 18, but like literally clawing for every deal would trade for, a wholesale fee that's half that, but, is rolling and set up any day of the week.
And we're always
But,
doing what we can to increase that number. But at the same time, I don't want to piss off a seller and get them to try to go shop my offer to somebody else, while, in the same time, it's just as important for me to feed my buyers and keep them happy, so they're not going and buying from other people too. So yeah, there's definitely a balancing act here. But yeah, I mean, a couple $1,000 is a couple $1,000. Let's call it what it is.
And my point is this, like, if let's say on 5 of those deals, so 4, like, let's say you go on one, you have 10 appointments, you win one, there's 4 others that are just no brainer, that you could capture if the numbers were different. They want to sell, but there's just not a number in there. But somebody were to come in and do kind of what we've been doing, and God bless you, and capitalize on those deals and be able to get, let's just say we have a flat fee of like $4,000 on that deal, and you're getting 25, 35%, whatever that is, on 4 of those deals. All of a sudden, you're I don't know what you spend every month on marketing, but you could very quickly start to zero base all of your marketing on deals that you pretty much are just like throwing away. And at least if you're like most people that I know, I mean, I'm friends with a lot of investors that are spending, I mean, literally between a lot of my friends, I mean, they're spending millions of dollars a month when you combine all the amount of money that everybody's spending on marketing, and every month, millions of dollars that they're just throwing away, where, if you partner with the right person that actually understands how to close these deals, and it's not a waste of time, which it will be a waste of time if the person doesn't have a good system to close these deals, then you could pretty much start zero basing your marketing. I mean, how does that change your business if all of a sudden you're getting, 2,500 times 4 every month coming in, to pay for marketing? And even a decent marketer should get at least a 2x ROI, if not a 3x or a 5x ROI. So all of a sudden you multiply that, you look at a multiplier on the ROI, if you take that money, and it should change how your business and change the trajectory of your business if you're reinvesting it and you're good with your ROI. So anyway, that's my take. I think a lot of people are in that same place where they have, 10 appointments a month and take one, and 4 of them, you easily could have monetized if you had a system in place to monetize the deals that are just dying.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the strategies that we might have, or that we're using currently to, put some of these systems in place. So I think that's awesome. So one thing that you can do, like you mentioned this earlier, if you have a deal that comes into an investor side and it's just a thin deal, there's not a lot of money to be made, you can refer those over to an agent. If you are an agent, you can send that over with a referral fee. And those are typically 1-page agreements that you send over, with the information of who that seller might be to the agent. And those referral rates typically range from 25 to 35%.
Yeah. And it can be a little bit more if you're sending a massive amount of deals. It has to be a massive amount to be any more than that. But
right. That's a good point though. So with volume, it can get even higher.
Yeah. 100%. So yeah, the way it works is, you get an agent, you partner with an agent, or you become an agent. Or, the way a lot of the bigger teams, they usually have somebody that's an agent that just hangs their status and referral status. And this is what I'm training. I'm training the people that are going in and converting, because most of the people that are doing deals should know how to sell, the wholesale or get somebody under contract. The problem is that most people have is they don't know how to pivot, and so don't have that other tool. And so whether it's you or an agent that you're partnering with, and you can't just get anybody. You need to get somebody that actually understands sales and understands how to look at this. Basically needs to come in and act like a doctor, right? Identify the pain and identify, okay, it's too thin for this deal. I blew up my shoulder. I always tell this story. I blew up my shoulder. I played rugby in college. And so I've had 3 shoulder surgeries here, 1 here, and I just blew it out again, which just sucks. But I went to the doctor. He did all these things. He moved my shoulder around, moved my arm around, nothing. Did something called the crank test, which, it's as bad as it sounds. He like cranked my arm around. I mean, I squealed like a little girl. I mean, it was terrible.
Uh-oh.
And he's like, oh, that's what it does. And then he did it again.
Oh no.
Man, what are you doing? This hurts, And he's like, yep, that's it. You probably tore your labrum and sent me to go to the MRI, which, if you've ever been in an MRI, it's terrible. But the whole thing is that's what we should be doing. When you walk in, you find the pain point like a doctor, right? And then once you find it, like they need to sell quickly, but they're calling an investor, right? They're always calling an investor instead of an agent. Every single person knows an agent, right? There's 500 billion agents that they probably could have called, but they're calling an investor or talking to an investor for a reason. So what is the reason? Well, maybe they don't want people in their house. Maybe they want a quick sale. Maybe they're behind on the mortgage. Maybe whatever the reason is, you find what it is, you find that pain point, and then like the doctor, when he did the crank test, you just push on it until they squeal. And then you're able to sell them and you're able to answer that pain, right? You're able to say, okay, here's the pain. Here's how I can solve that pain for you. And here's what we do. And so then you answer it. But if you go in like if you have somebody come in like a real estate agent, open up their listing presentation and treat it like an agent and don't treat it like an investor, boom, you're done. They're going to call their uncle's grandfather, who's also a real estate agent and a hairdresser, and let that person sell their house and list their house. You've got to treat it just like an investor would, which goes in and says, hey, what's your pain? How can I solve your pain? And know that the people in the world that make the most money are the ones that identify pain and solve problems for people.
Man, you nailed it. I totally agree with what you're saying. Yeah, and this is a business, so the guy that's getting the referrals, they need to work these leads as if they paid for them because somebody else did. And the fact that they're going to be able to keep, 60 to 75% of the income that's generated from that lead is huge because they're not paying for it either. Someone else is, which we just mentioned. So lots of winning scenarios here, a lot of win-wins, for not only the seller, the agent that may be involved, but really, mostly in my opinion, for the investor who's spending money on their marketing and they're essentially turning trash leads into cash or into cash leads. Yeah. So I think that is awesome, Chris. Very, very cool. Guys, I want to thank Chris for coming on the show. He's given us a couple really, really good gold nuggets today about how to turn trash leads into cash. And if you're not familiar with Chris, check him out. He's got an awesome website, chriscraddock.com. Did I say that right? Craddock?
That's right.
I always want to over-pronunciate the doc.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise it could go another way, which we don't want to go.
Yeah, Chris Craddock. And that's ChrisCraddock.com. Go ahead, Chris.
Right. And actually on the website as well, our business, when I started really running with the business we have, we went to a multi-million-dollar business really quickly. And a lot of it was because of people I spent time with and people I learned from. So I actually created a reading list. I'm
looking at that right now. It looks great. It's down at the bottom of your website, chriscraddock.com. Check it out, guys.
Millionaire real estate, millionaire reading list. So yeah, if you just type in your info there, we'll send it to you free, no cost. Just anybody that wants to build a multi-million-dollar business. I think there's some prerequisite books. Every entrepreneur, every business leader should read these books. So I just put it out there, send it over. We'll get you hooked up with that.
Hell yeah, man. I'm signing up as we speak.
Yeah.
Let me get my email in there. Boom, signed up. That's what's up, man. Very cool. Well, Chris, thanks for coming on. Guys, turn your trash leads into cash. Chris is going to have a course coming soon. So go sign up and get on the reading list, because the more people that sign up for the reading list, the quicker he's going to get his ass in gear and get that course out to us. I'm super excited. He knows I'm giving him shit right now, but that's okay. We're buddies, and that's what buddies do. Again, Chris, thanks for coming on the show. Check him out, chriscraddock.com. That's ChrisCraddock. And get on that reading list. And don't forget, turn those junk leads into cash. Partner with real estate agents, partner with investors. You are most likely spending time, money, or both to generate these leads. And it is really just stupidity and foolishness to not try to convert these leads and get paid on them. So get out there and do it. Get on Chris's list. And hopefully Chris will be back on the show soon when we can announce the opening and grand opening of the course that he's going to be building for us. And wouldn't that be nice, Chris?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Giving him shit. I love him. All right, guys, we're going to be signing off for today. Chris, thanks again for coming on the show. Thanks for sharing some gold nuggets with me and the audience. And again, we're going to have to bring you back on the show sometime soon. Any parting words for us today?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, just do it, boys and girls. Just go out. Lots of stuff in the world tells us we should sit around and wait. But I'll tell you what, get on the phone, grind, do what you got to do. Just go out and win.
I love it. Guys, you make your money when you buy. You get paid when you sell. We're signing off. Until next time. Thanks for listening to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to help us reach a wider audience. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, please visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. We would also appreciate it if you left us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Thank you in advance for your support, and remember, you make your money when you buy, and you get paid when you sell. Now let's go build some wealth.